So I started my business out on my kitchen table in my little apartment doing like ornaments for family members, signs, like wood signs, just random crafts for people. And then somebody had mentioned to me that they wanted to have me come in and do a workshop. And for about 6 months, I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to stick to keep it simple. I'm a therapist. That's what I'm going to do. And then I started to realize how much like I needed crafting, and I kind of put it down when I was in my master's program. And I was like, we got to pick it back up. So I'm Alexandra. I run So Sweet Sentimental. I started doing this right before COVID in 2020. And I'm a creative wellness brand, so I focus on self-care. It is a craft, but also focused on like wellness and self-care.
First of all, thank you so much for taking the time to come on. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Can you elaborate right off the bat what the wellness brand is and what you're actually doing with that? What is that in layman's terms? What are you actually doing in the business?
Sure. So I'm actually a therapist by trade. Two different businesses, but I'm a therapist by trade. And what I noticed out of my work was a lot of people are like craving something different for self-care. So, and crafting has a lot of like wellness benefits. Like it lowers your heart rate and it decreases stress and kind of just calms the nervous system down. So that's kind of like how I add that in. And I choose crafts very intentionally based on how they make me feel.
How do you find your clientele?
Instagram, and I also partner with a lot of businesses that I do my workshops at, so I don't have like a traditional space. I go into small business and highlight them and also encourage people to like shop local. In addition to coming to do the craft, they usually are shopping or drinking wine or enjoying pizza or whatever business I'm in.
So what would like a typical event look like for you? Like what is a typical craft when you're coming in with these businesses or these partnerships?
So usually, like in the beginning, I was reaching out to a lot of businesses, kind of like seeing who was interested, and then I like kind of let them decide. I give them ideas of the crafts that I offer. Some businesses like kind of send me a craft and say like, "Do you think we could do this? Can you tailor this to our business?" And I'll do that. And I template it like in advance and kind of send it to them. Do you like this? Do you not like? What do you want me to change? And then I gear it towards that business the best that I can, but also honoring my own business as well.
So you mentioned an interesting point right when we started that you started right before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I found that in all the interviews that I've done, COVID comes up in almost every single one as a relatively defining point in their career. How was it starting your business right before COVID and then obviously going into COVID? How did it affect your business for the better, for the worse? What did that actually look like?
So I started my business out on my kitchen table in my little apartment doing like ornaments for family members, signs, like wood signs, doormats, let's see what else, like just random crafts for people. And then it kind of progressed from there to doing more of like a workshop style. Somebody had mentioned to me that they wanted like to have me come in and do a workshop. And for about 6 months, I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to stick to keep it simple. I'm a therapist. That's what I'm going to do. And then I started to realize how much like I needed crafting, and I kind of put it down when I was in my master's program. And I was like, we got to pick it back up because one, I was feeling burnt out. So it kind of like healed me in a way. And also I just needed something different, I feel like.
So essentially the business started with you crafting and then it led to you helping others craft.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Very interesting. Yeah. So talk to me about like where you are with the business, like how much of your time is spent between the therapy that you do and this?
Well, I just quit the practice that I was working at, so now I'm fully solo in both businesses. And originally I was going to be like a therapist full time, and then this would come kind of second. That's kind of been wiped clean, and now this is coming first. And my therapy practice is more of like I get to choose like who and what kind of work that I do. So I feel like the creative wellness brand and the event part has taken over.
Has it taken over financially too?
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Not fully, but yeah. Like I need both.
Take that leap.
Yeah.
Talk to me about taking that leap. I think that so many entrepreneurs are like, you know, they're one of the, I think the defining moments of so many entrepreneurs when they decide, hey, I have this side gig and now this side gig is becoming my main gig. And that's a very scary leap. And I think that a lot of people that have done that leap can relate to how scary that can be because you're relying on your bread and butter and now all of a sudden that bread and butter has to actually make money. Talk to me about that process.
So I'm still very much living in that fear stage, but we're kind of on the other side now. Getting there, I think, like we're at the top maybe. It is really scary, but I feel like, I mean, I tell my clients all the time, like if you don't take the risk, you're never gonna see what could happen. And I'm already feeling like just more connected, I feel like, to myself and to my clients in both businesses. It's really been, I feel like, a game changer for me.
We talked briefly about you getting new, I guess, what do you define it? Like when you work, more business would be, I guess, would you call them clients, partnerships, the people that you work with that are booking you to do these events, right? Because you're almost like a B2B business to business, right? Because you're not really going direct to consumer. So like, how are you getting these connections with the businesses?
How I started was I would message people, like many businesses. I didn't get a ton of responses, but some people did respond and were really interested in it.
Talk to me about the message process. So what did the message say? Because I think that a lot of businesses can either benefit from or run off of direct message. Particularly, I'd put you kind of in like the client related business. These are almost clients that you're booking, right? No different than like a photographer would book a client for a session, right? And these businesses, I think either are utilizing very well or should be utilizing more the direct message. Hey, I think we could do really cool things together. Blah 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 kind of concept to get more business. Talk to me about like what that message looked like and the success rate or failure rate or however you want to define it.
I would say it's like 50-50. Like some businesses would not even read it, and some businesses would read it and be like really invested in it. I feel like it was like pretty much like that. Like, so I would just send a message. Hey, usually I chose businesses that I felt connected to or that I would be interested in going into. Like usually I'll go in advance and see the space. Not always tell them that I'm there for that, obviously. Occasionally I would if it's like a business that I know and I'm comfortable with. And I would just say like, hey, are you interested in doing this? I just started this business and I'm looking to find more locations to do it in. I feel like you'd be really a great fit. And it does bring business in for them, but it also brings me longer term clients as well that want to come to that space.
In what sense? What does that mean?
Like I have a lot of repeat people, like for instance, Book and Mortar in Mount Sinai. Like I just did an event there. Everybody wants to go back there, right? They're like, oh, when are you coming back to Book and Mortar? We're going to come see you when you're there. Or Village Vibes, for instance, like when I go there and do a workshop, people are coming there because they're connected to Village Vibes and they've seen my stuff as well, and they like the idea of the partnership and they want the vibe that we both bring. So I feel like that's kind of how I get repeat customers, but also how they get business from it as well, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. So how often would you ever consider the business model, if you're not having already, of like monthly reoccurring, doing the same thing and ever like Village Vibes?
Yeah, so I try to do my main location spots, like I will do monthly. Sometimes it's more than once a month. The Little Nook and Wading River, I'm there like probably like sometimes 2-3 times a week at times, depending on the month. AJ Sunflower Boutique, same thing. She's where I started, so shout out to Katie. Yeah, I feel like I definitely have some monthly spots. I don't do the same craft every month, just because if somebody's making a doormat the one month, they may not want to come back the next month and do that. But try to switch it up and give everybody a more customized craft. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Now, being that this is a business podcast, I'm curious, like the structure of the business. So, like you pay for all of the equipment up front and then just charge an overhead fee on top of that, or how does that work?
Yeah. So usually I go business by business. So if somebody wants something specific from it, we'll add that into the price. Like a lot of people do $10 a person or something along the lines of that, like a percent or a percentage.
$10 a person, meaning for the guest to come in,
yeah.
Or that you would make?
I would give the business,
okay.
So they would make
Oh,
it.
interesting.
So I try to make it profitable for all, not just like me. Like I want it to be...
In addition to the profit of people coming into the business already. Wow, interesting.
Yeah, because then and sometimes the businesses will offer like a discount, like $10 off 50 or 10 off 25 or something, and that encourages people to shop at the store as well.
I mean, that's a major selling point just on businesses in general. Like, as you continue to develop a following and people just come to see you and your crafts and the work that you're doing, and be a part of that, it's bringing business in and they're making money. It's a win-win for any business. So what are the types of businesses that you're working with?
So like clothing boutiques, bookstores. I like books, so bookstore is like my vibe. The wine barn, so like breweries, wineries, restaurants I've done.
And this will be like on a regular Tuesday night, or is it all the weekend?
It's usually never on the weekend, because what I found, which is always very interesting to me, is that people are busy on the weekends, right? So they want to do something on like a Thursday night, a Friday night, sometimes a Monday night. My craft club is Wednesday nights, so it's kind of like a weeknight. Tell me about the craft club. I just started it. It's fresh. I just had my first meeting, and we had like 35, 36 women there. And we're going to do it once a month. So it's going to be like a lower scale craft, a little bit more affordable for people. And the first one, I like really went overboard and like did goodie bags, and we did like a photo op, and really did a lot. We pick our craft for the next time. Everybody votes. We pick the location, and we're gonna rotate around to different.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna pick probably 3 or 4 locations that will be at every couple of months, if that makes sense.
Now, are you all over the island, or do you kind of focus on a certain area?
Yeah, so I don't go into Nassau. I'm mostly Suffolk, but I have Centerim there's 2 locations, Wading River, trying to think of where else. I do some in Babylon. I have 2 locations in Babylon that I go to. Mount Sinai, Port Jeff. The Wellness Stop in Port Jeff is a great new spot that we have.
Yeah, absolutely, Karen.
Yes, I love Karen. She's so kind.
Mentioned many previous podcast guests, Karen.
Yes.
And, the Village Vibes down.
Yep. Caitlin Silverstein, I know her as well. I know she's another therapist. You recently did hers, right?
Yeah, it's a small world. Very small world. That's cool.
I try to make a lot of online connections with businesses, maybe people I never met.
What does that look like? How would you what is
Just
that?
engaging with their content, because I always want people to engage with mine. So I feel like if I want it, I have to also engage, share. I try to share a lot of things. I really try to support other businesses too, because I hope that they would do the same.
Something I could totally do better with. As somebody that's made a career on social media, I hate social media. I don't scroll through stuff, and I should be commenting and engaging and creating relationships online so much more than I actually do. So good on you for actually doing
Thank
it. But talk to me a little bit more. I'm curious about the creative aspect of it. I would say that therapists are rather creative people, because you're constantly. It's really no different than what I do for a living of the interview.
Lots of talking, yeah.
It's a lot of talk. Well, it's a lot of listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then your answer is based on what they say, so it's a lot of off the cuff answers. So I think there's a lot of creative brain usage in that, because you don't have it's not a script. It's not the same every time. Everybody needs something different, right? Yeah. And even if it's the same problem, people dress in different ways. So I would definitely say the creative gene in you. But I'm curious where the tactical creative gene came from. Were you always crafting? Were you always doing things? Where does that come from?
Yeah, since a kid, I've always been into painting, drawing. I'm not the best at the drawing aspect, but I'm getting better. I do a lot of tracing. And I was always very crafty. Both of my parents are very artistic. My dad is an architect, but he's very creative. And my mom is also very creative. She just started her own banner business, and I'm really proud of her.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Good for her. That's great. Talk to me about how something that's worked. I want to hear 2 things. I think that a lot of people say that they express, particularly on podcasts and stuff on social media, things that have worked really well in business. I'm curious what hasn't worked. What have you tried and has not worked?
Some of the crafts, I had to give up the concept of every workshop is going to sell out and book, or every balloon garland or every event backdrop that we build is going to take off and be the next big. In the beginning, I was oh yeah, everyone's going to sell out. And then I kind of got humbled, right? In the sense that it's not going to be that way. Some are going to do great, and some are going to kind of flop a little bit, and you have to be okay with the failure aspect of it too. Yeah, I feel that's kind of the biggest thing. And some of the workshops, there might be nobody signed up. Another one, there might be 35 people signed up. It's
So what do you do with the ones that nobody shows up? Or if you're 2 or 3 signups, what do you do?
We do 5 or over. I've done workshops of 3 if the people really are interested in it. I'll still go and do it. Because those are still connections that I can make, and they still need the craft too. So,
what's the typical rate that would be for a craft, somebody coming?
Yeah, so between craft club is 25 to 35, depending on what's the craft that we're doing and what the supplies cost, and then for a traditional workshop, 35 to 55.
Very cool.
Doormats are more because expenses are more for that.
Sure. Give me some examples of some crafts you've done with people.
Sure. My most popular is the pressed flower craft, so we can adapt that to really fit most businesses. We could do wine bottles with flowers on them. We can do canvases. We can do jars. We just did at the Wellness Stop with lights, luminary jars. And that was a really cool one and a pretty unique one, because have you been to Karen's space yet? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so very
not the new space, just the upstairs the original
yeah,
spot.
Very mindful. I went there. We spent an hour just talking about what she was interested in doing, and we came up with the luminary jars because Karen focuses on wellness as well, and that intention setting. So we did an intention setting activity in the beginning, and then we went into the pressed flowers. I do doormats. I do canvas painting, where I'll come with a pre-traced canvas, so it kind of takes the pressure off of I have to draw this and paint this myself. They just pick the colors, then they get right into the painting. I'm trying to think of what else. This Thursday, we're doing a wine bottle painting at the wine barn. So all local Long Island wines, and it's an empty bottle. So I soak it and I clean it and I do all that, and then they'll come and hand paint their bottle, and then we put lights in it. So I really try to just adapt it to the business if I can.
Yeah, very cool. I'm curious about the connection that you talked about earlier, about how crafts and working with your hands and other stuff can lower blood pressure and be good for mental health. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, so like some of the doormats, for instance, if you have a doormat in front of you, we use stencils, so they're not, I only do like one without stencils, and it's a gingerbread house one that I do every year. But the ones with stencils, the first part is a little stressful, so that might raise your blood pressure a little, I'll be honest and transparent. And then after that, you are picking your colors, which people find really like cathartic, like, oh, I get to choose everything. Like, not, they get to choose their stencil, they choose what colors they're going to pick, and they kind of choose like how they're going to do it. I'll explain it, I'll walk them through it, and then the most cathartic part that I feel like lowers your blood pressure is you're not painting like this, you're like dabbing the whole time, so it's very like meditative in a sense that you're just kind of like getting into it and doing what you have to do to cover the whole, I guess, canvas you would call it, the doormat.
I wonder, this is just total speculation, but I wonder if part of the relaxing part of creativity and art is the fact that it's one of the few times where we're actually in, to some degree, some sort of control.
True, yeah.
Where I think that human nature is craving control, and I think that the reason so much of our stress is because we're actually not in any control. We're in control of very few things.
Yeah.
I'm curious if the part that we like so much subconsciously about creative. I mean, I'm a musician. Like, I did music for 15 years before I started doing all this stuff, right? And I still play music. So this aspect of like, oh, I could put this here, I could put this here, or I could change. I'm in control. You know, of course there are mistakes, and as Bob Ross called them, happy accidents. With my Bob Ross tattoo over here. But it is, for the most part, but even in that mistake, you are in control of what you do with after the mistake. And it's interesting. I'm curious your opinion on that.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely true. I feel like people do feel in control. I think they also like that they get to choose everything. Like, I think, like you said, a lot of things are like chosen for us in life. Like, and
sense of control.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
get to.
it's
I
very
also feel
interesting.
like what other pieces of it bring the wellness aspect in is like creating with other people. There's definitely, I don't know the specific science behind it, but like coming into a space with other people, I feel like is really important. And as adults, it's difficult to make friends and things. So it's a good opportunity to like come and meet somebody new. A lot of people come on their own without friends, which I didn't realize would happen, I guess. It's kind of like an unintentional benefit that I'm finding for people is that they're coming by themselves and then they're leaving with like a new friend.
That's cool. There's definitely something to be said about community. You know, I'm sure, as you know, as an kind of like a solo entrepreneur, both of us being, you work a lot by yourself. So the idea of community and working around other people is definitely a refreshing feeling.
Yeah. I mean, my husband's a very huge part of my business. I kind of wish he was here to talk to, but
in what sense? Like what?
He builds every backdrop that we do for events. He thinks he's better at balloons than me, for sure. And he kind of is sometimes. He does have he's very creative as well in a different way.
What does he do for work?
He's an electrician. He's just very creative. Right. He's great at building things and really seeing the vision, I feel like. Like, I'll create the vision, draw it out, and then he executes the vision.
That's great. Very cool. You've been in business for about 6 years, or I guess almost 7, right? So you've worked through a lot of seasons. I'm curious, what's your busy season, what's your slow season, how you navigate those?
So I feel like it ebbs and flows every year. This year I was shocked, and I think it has to do with the economy. Like, Christmas time used to be great. Everybody wanted gifts, everybody wanted gift cards, things like that. Now I'm noticing that it's more like spring, summer, like right now is my busy season.
Very interesting. I'm actually surprised by that because I find every industry is different, but I find that people are so busy in the summer that they don't want to actually go out and do things because they're like, oh, family this day, family that day, party this day, Memorial Day this day. Like, so I'm actually really surprised that. I'm curious your opinion on that. You mentioned the economy because I'm surprised because I don't feel like it's necessarily gotten any better. Yeah. But the fact that it picked up, I'm just curious. And do you have any thoughts on that?
I think like the weeknights, people don't really have too much to do, so I feel like that kind of contributes.
This winter also sucked.
Yeah, it was pretty.
So like, if there's 2 feet on the ground, 2 feet of snow on the ground, I don't know that people are really.
A few things had to be canceled because of the snow for sure, which I didn't have that experience in past years. We didn't get that much snow in past years. Yeah. So
what are you doing on the slow seasons to try to make them busy?
Usually the events take over in that time. Like in the wintertime, there's a lot of indoor birthday parties or
Oh, so you have a so elaborate on that. Like the events, what is that for
so
you?
we do balloons, backdrops,
So you're
like
not just doing
installs.
like community events as well, people coming in. You actually will
Yeah.
provide. I don't know what you'd call it.
Like event decor.
Yeah, decor for.
Yes, I do recently more weddings. I do a lot of seating charts.
Oh wow.
We use our mirrors. We build custom seating charts. I have two this weekend. And that's become a bigger thing, like the weddings. And that was unintentional. I think my own wedding sparks that.
It's a sweet business to be in, man. I mean, just we're talking business. The markup on weddings is incredible compared to other jobs. I mean, just in the video work alone, I've done a couple weddings, and it's like they're a beast. I actually enjoy doing them, and I don't plan to do any more. But
There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to mess it up. It's like this wedding has to be perfect.
I heard something really interesting from a guest on the podcast. Actually, I want to say it was the rent the tent guy that I just had on, and he rents tents to people, and it's very self-explanatory actually. But he was looking to get more into the commercial space, and his reasoning was really interesting. I assumed when he first said that it was because of profit margin, like businesses are willing to spend more money than the personal sector. But his reason was totally different. I found it really unique. He said it's because there's less emotion involved. And he's like, think about it, like if it's your daughter's sweet 16, or it's your grandma's 80th birthday, or it's your wedding, and if something goes wrong, there's a rip in the tent, it's stained for some reason, which he tries his best to do everything, make everything great.
Yeah.
But obviously, like things happen. There's a lot more emotion involved than if it's just some corporate event. And he's like, that alone is way worth all the red tape that I have to cut through to get involved with it. And I found that super interesting. So would you ever consider, have you ever considered going to the corporate designing things for corporate events?
Potentially. I haven't really given that much thought. I did recently just do a big basket arch for Don't Toss the Bouquet in Patchogue. She was my old professor. We reconnected, and she kind of inspired me to get more involved in like business installations. So I created this 7.5-foot basket arch of all thrifted baskets that I've collected over some time. Before she even asked me, I had a basket collection because I use them for a lot of things, carrying things. So maybe, I feel like maybe. I haven't given that much thought because I'm just very much in the wedding scene right now and just like the workshops. But yeah, probably.
How much of your business is split between providing decor versus doing the crafting with people?
I would say every week is kind of different. Like some weeks I have no workshops if I have a busy like week with other things, but typically I'm doing at least 2 workshops a week, and then I do, like this weekend we have 3 events on Sunday, all event decor. I have a wedding, a giveaway that I'm a part of, and then a what's the other one? A baby shower. So the weekends are heavy on events. The weekdays are heavy on like workshops.
Mm-hmm. Do you have kids?
No.
I'm curious how the sentiment behind I'm assuming the events are all in the evening, so there's a lot of nights out.
Yes.
What's your sentiment behind being out at night? It's a different. I've found from personal experience, like my career shifted a lot in the over the past decade. Like I was a musician, so a lot of my events were at night. A lot of the work that I did was at night. But I never particularly liked it. I was more of I would rather get the work done during the day and do whatever I wanted at night. And particularly now that I have kids, I'm like I don't want to work at night. But I do a lot because a lot of like restaurants, I do a lot of restaurant work now. They're like, oh, we're really busy at night, so can you come in? Blah blah blah, whatever. I don't particularly like it, but it's just part of the job, and I'm curious how you reconcile with it, or if you don't care at all.
I don't always love the nights. I usually get home by like, I would say like 8:30. My husband usually makes dinner, shout out to him. And then we sit down and eat together usually. So I feel like that helps because I know sometimes he works late as well. So I know that like when I come home, we'll have the time to just like sit down and be like humans, not business owners.
Does he own his own business as well?
He doesn't. No, he's an electrician. Yeah, he works for the union. So we try to set time for just us, and sometimes in between jobs, like in between work, like events, we'll like go out till dinner or lunch or like in between if we try to stay in the area for certain jobs because we pick up and drop off. So.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I mean, would you ever consider getting to the point like of delegating that?
Potentially.
Because
I kind of like
that's
to
really
do it
interesting.
myself. I like to be the one who shows up and sets up and takes down.
Sure.
And,
but then if it's like a wedding, that's
they don't even see me half the time at weddings. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, like that's a lot of time that you have to sitting there and you have to figure out what to do with.
Yeah, sometimes we go home or sometimes we like find something to do in between.
Oh, interesting.
But sometimes we hang around and just stay in the area, explore a new place or something.
That's very interesting. And I guess it's just worth the time. I guess the investment is worth the time.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And then we're spending time together, so it doesn't
Sure,
always
yeah, of
feel.
course.
I mean, sometimes we bring our dog and we go set up, and then we take a walk
Sure.
or something. My dog is like my child, so that's yeah.
Very interesting. So, yeah, I'm really surprised actually. But so much of the. One of the things I love about this podcast is that you get to hear all the different intricacies of other people's businesses, and yeah, I guess obviously setting up. I assume when you were doing this stuff that you were just saying, "Hey, we made this for you. Here it is. Go take it to your wedding," kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Some people choose to pick up and avoid the cost of that, which I'm totally fine with because I planned a wedding last year and it's a lot of work and it's expensive. So if you want to cut the cost, you can come pick it up for me and I'll pack it up for you and then you can drop it off when you're done.
so they aren't buying these pieces.
Depends. Some people provide me the mirror and I'll decal it for them. Sometimes I provide just the decals for the mirrors that I do.
Which would be like a sticker kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they'll tell me like what they want. I'll give them an idea of like what it looks like. We'll do a mock-up and stuff. But usually people are having us come and set up because especially if it's a wedding, they don't want to deal with it. They just want to like show up stress-free, everything's set up.
And then I guess you can reuse all those products. You just take the decals off. Very interesting. It's a very interesting business model you have. It's pretty cool. And I guess what's cool about them is they kind of intertwine in the sense that the two aspects of the business, you meet a lot of people. Hey, I'm
Yes.
getting married. Hey, my daughter's getting married. Hey, my blah, blah, blah. Like one leads into the other very well.
Yes, a lot of people come to my workshops and then they're like, wait, you do this too? Or they follow me and then they're like, oh, wait, I'm having a birthday party next week.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very interesting. What's one direction that you'd like to go in that you haven't gone in yet with your business?
Something that I've like dabbled in and I've worked with like Nicole from Motherhood Moves or like a Pilates instructor. We did Pilates on the dock a few weeks ago. Is like the fitness aspect of it, like crafting and an exercise activity. I try to pair, sometimes I'll try to pair the activity so it's more of like a full experience. Like you get this and this. And a lot of times what I find is if they exercise first, people are more relaxed and carefree when they actually
Really?
like, sit down to craft. Yeah. It's like they worked out all of their stress and now they're ready to go.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
What's your demographic of people that are coming to these events?
So it's pretty interesting. I feel like we mostly women. The age range is all over the place. Like I've had kids, I've had older people, I've had men sometimes like come with their wives, or girlfriends, and it's really all over the place. I feel like my crafts club, there were people who were much older and there were people who were like 18, right? I feel like it was such a big difference and I was shocked to see that because I don't see anyone's age when they sign up. I just see them when they get there. I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of, but I would say like 25 to like 35 is like the biggest age range that I see.
Really? Interesting. What platform? I guess, yeah, maybe pre-kids, I guess, going out. I actually assumed it would probably be like high school mom kids. Like, so like they're in their 40s and 50s.
I do have a ton of moms that come as well. It's usually like younger moms, I feel like, and that's a big clientele load for me, I guess, with my events as well. I feel like
Oh, really?
event decor. It's usually not the younger people doing the events. Yeah,
Meaning
event decor.
like wedding decor.
Yeah.
Really?
Well,
See,
for
that
wedding
would've-
decor, I feel like that kind of ranges because people get married at all different ages.
Okay.
But like for birthday parties, it's usually like 30 plus people hiring me to come and decorate or
People that have money. At that
yeah,
point.
yeah,
Very
we can do it.
What has been the hardest part of your business you've been finding?
Sure, I think this is an interesting hot take, but saying no to things as well and not just yes to everything, I still really struggle with that. Like anybody asks me for anything, I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I think about it and I'm like, okay, that's going to cost me $1,000. Like doing certain things. I try to give as much as I can, like back, like for giveaways or influencer events or things like that. But learning to say no when the time comes, I feel like, for things and
Sure.
trying to figure out like what's a good opportunity. And I don't want to say what's not because everything is an opportunity. But learning to say no, I feel like I don't want to get
There's
too
an
deep in
opportunity cost, right?
Yes.
As soon as you say yes to something, means you have to say no to something else, technically. And like if you're booked for Saturday, you can't do another thing on
Right.
Saturday, right? And that costs an opportunity. You may know this, but you may not, is that 80% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. So the fact that you've made it now that you're 6 and 7 is quite the testament. And the fact that it's now become your, I guess, main provider, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to your therapy. The fact that you quit, actually, the
Yeah.
what was it, the
The practice that I was
practice,
at,
that's
yeah.
what I'm looking for. There's so many different intricacies of what everybody calls everything in their
Yeah.
business or whatever. But yeah, it's quite the testament to your work. So, in conclusion, one of the questions I like to ask everybody as the final question is, what is something you know in your business now that you wish you knew when you first started out?
I think that it's okay to fail sometimes. It doesn't mean your business is a failure or that it's not going to go somewhere. It took me a while, I feel like, to realize that, and I would get really down on myself. I mean, my husband would be a testament to that. Like, no, it's going to be fine. You just have to keep going.
So tell me a little
like
bit
trusting
about those
myself.
family failures.
Yeah, like the workshops that don't sell out, or the client who says too expensive, or they don't like my mock-up or something. I mean, everybody's different, and I give all of my clients like creative freedom, like whatever color you want, even if the color isn't something I like necessarily would choose, right? It's your event, you decide. But I feel like really being able to recognize, like, just because a workshop didn't take off doesn't mean that the next one won't, or that if I try it again it won't. I feel like that's probably what I learned, that like one failure doesn't mean the whole thing is a failure, if that makes sense.
Sure, absolutely. Very interesting. It's been really interesting to hear about your business. Actually, it was, while I of course knew of your business, what you did, it was really interesting hearing the intricacies in the whole process. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yes,
and
thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to seeing what you do next. And it's an absolute pleasure.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.